Dusk City Outlaws, a fantasy heist role-playing game by Rodney Thompson, published by Scratchpad Publishing. This is done for Geek Therapeutics, cohort number 13. A little about myself. I am a game master for many, many years, and I'm a board game designer. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce our various players. Please tell us who you are and what your character is, which cartel you work for, and what your specialty is. Take this across the line. Sam?
Hi, I'm Sam. I will be playing Octavius Wake. He is a gravedigger cartel, and he is a cleaner specialty.
Michael?
Hello, I'm Michael Garrett. I'll be playing William Stryker. He is part of the Wardens of the Night Cartel, and his specialty is sharpshooter.
Nicole?
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm playing Elania. She is from the Circle Cartel, and she is an alchemist.
Jasmine?
Hi, I'm Jasmine. I'm playing Cordelia. She's from the Mummers Cartel, and her specialty is a grifter.
John?
Hi, I'm John. Tonight I'll be playing Morgan. He is of the Vesper Society, and he is a poisoner.
And Philip?
Hi, I'm Philip. I'm going to be playing Takashi Renzo. He's in the Red Lotus Society, and he's a sharpshooter.
All right. So, to set the stage, we have it is the city of New Dunhaven. It's a sprawling metropolis, like a beefed up version of Renaissance Venice, with canals and roads and districts and a lot of people packed together and a lot of places for crime to happen. Now, all the members of the crew tonight are members of various different cartels. They work for different companies, for different criminal organizations, and they all work together as part of the arrangement. The arrangement, with a capital A, is a way to sort of, if there's a big job to be performed, a bunch of different cartels get pulled in, different crew members, to ensure everyone gets a slice of the pie and there's no real infighting over that kind of stuff. So we're going to begin with the crew getting the job. It is appropriately enough, Thursday evening. The sun has gone down, and each of the crew are out doing their various things on a Thursday evening when a messenger comes with a discreet carriage that will take you to where the patron for this job, which is a mission that I wrote called the Orca Job, will be taking place in. Real quick, I'm going to go through each of the characters, and I want to find out what your character might be doing on a given Thursday evening, right as the sun has sort of set on the horizon. And I'll just take this in the order I have. William?
Yeah, so as the sun is setting, I would definitely want to climb up to the rooftops just to keep an eye on things going on in the city, any easy marks that I could possibly take advantage of.
Cordelia?
Sorry, I'm just...
No problem. Oh, how about I come back to you?
Yes,
Elena?
sounds good.
Sorry, which name did you say?
Elena?
That's me. Thank you, Sam, for clarifying that. I would just probably be hanging out, practicing some alchemy. So maybe in like the back of a shop somewhere.
Yeah. Octavius?
Octavius Wake is walking through the largest graveyard in the city. just calmly strolling through the graveyard, looking at the gravestones, nodding at some of them like they're old friends, kind of like cocking his head at others, maybe whistling a slight tune to himself.
Morgan?
Morgan would be having a drink at a fine establishment, not really conversing too much with others, but listening at this point and trying to pay attention likewise for easy marks this evening.
All right. Takashi?
Takashi would be in the middle of an interrogation, getting information from somebody. Just constantly rolling a dice and just letting the numbers decide randomly what happens to the untimely individual, while also drinking some milk.
Yeah. And Cordelia?
She's going to be hustling whoever she can find at the local tavern.
All right. So, a courier comes up to you with a note, and it's pressed with a wax seal, and the seal specifically has symbols that says that you've been called up for a job, and per the rules, you're kind of obligated to go. A carriage with discreet curtains takes you to a noble, to one of the noble districts, to the residence around the back of notes, Eleanor Dayweather. She is a prominent Vesper who, quite noteworthily, with her broken copper casino, raked in a fortune and was able to buy herself a title, elevating her status into that of nobility. This caused some problems with some of the nobles, the old money crowd, to see new money come in. And she is connected with the Vespers, which is the organization, tends to run the casinos and whatnot. And so you've been brought into her estate to perform a job. You're brought in through the servants' entrance and then up to back doors through to a fine parlor with all manners of finery in it, but none of that like air that you might get if you were to visit an old money house. She is in her 50s. Her hair has gone gray, but there's evidence that she uses various dyes on it to and has a beauty regime to keep herself looking a lot younger. And you're brought in, and she says, come in. I trust the ride was good, and I have a matter for you that's a bit of a personal thing. A standard deviation from the standard job, but the pay will be just as good. You see, it's known that I am something of a collector, and there was a rare orchid that came in just earlier this week on a ship, and I was not able to purchase this orchid. It was stolen by a more well-connected lady, Asana Silvertree. Lady Silvertree used her connections and her money to claim this prize, which should rightfully be mine. And so I called you in to make things right and get me my orchid. Now, normally we wouldn't be able to just break into a noble's house and steal it. That would be bad for the cartels in general. Instead, I found out just recently that she is immortalizing this orchid as a glass flower, and she has, as I understand it, her favorite jeweler, Gelfried Cotter of Cotter's Jewels, who is crafting a replica out of silver and gold and fine jewels to immortalize this. The replica, well, let's just say all I care about is gaining the orchid, gaining the prize, which should rightfully be mine. And that is your mission. In the next 2 days, it is scheduled to go back into Lady Silvertree's manor, where it'll be untouchable for us. That's Saturday afternoon. But before then, it is still vulnerable at Cotter's Jewels. I need you to steal this for me and take it to the drop-off point. And it needs to remain undamaged. It would not prove to anybody's benefit if the flower was destroyed. As a benefit, as a slight bonus, this is optional, but if you find a way to damage, destroy, or steal the glass flower replica as it's been created, that would I would consider that a boon, and I would give you a little bit extra on the side. Also, I'm kind of pacifist at heart, and I would appreciate it if nobody were tremendously injured about this. Yeah, nothing that's permanent. Now, I'm sure you have many questions, and I'm not certain I have all of the answers. But what I do have for you is I have a quiet sitting room with no exterior windows that you will be able to plan in. It is located in my guest house out there, so you should be able to get to it fine. But first, if anybody has any questions, I might be able to answer those for you.
Octavius will. Oh, sorry. Go for it, Michael.
What do you know about the jeweler's shop?
I know that it is Lady Silvertree's personal jeweler. I believe it is located in a merchant district, but I don't know much more.
Octavius will step forward and say, what counts as grievously injured? How injured is too injured for your pacifist tastes?
Nobody murdered, but I understand you're professionals, and far be it from me to tell you how to do your job. And if accidents happen, I will be grieved, but not not tremendously put out.
It is a dangerous world. Accidents are common.
Morgan steps forward afterwards, and as a member of the Vesper family, would he know that Lady Dayweather is of reputable background? What she, what would I know about her?
She's well respected in the Vespers, and she is has a and you know, this job, like, you pull this job off and you're going to get paid. There's no chance of a double cross. She's also the arrangement the Big A works with around the Black Council and checks and balances. So there's nothing from the patron's end, nothing from Dayweather's side of things to be a problem for you. All right. Well, if you have no further questions, then I will let you go out and to continue with your planning. My butler, Brian, will see you out. And she made it pretty clear that this is done. Unfortunately, during the night, it started raining, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. As you now move out to her guest house, and you are now, what we're going to do is we're now going to go into a planning phase. And let me go ahead and briefly explain how this whole game is broken down. Unlike a regular RPG where it's sort of free form and everything goes, this game sort of plays in phases and scenes. So she's given you your timeline. It's Thursday evening, so it's the night phase right now, and it's leaving Saturday afternoon, so during the day on Saturday. So that's tonight, tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening, and then finally Saturday night, or Saturday morning, because that's how time works. Saturday morning, for that. Now, this first phase is a planning scene. I'm going to give you guys 15 minutes in real time of which to discuss your plans, make it, figure out what you're doing, what you need to do on there, and work from that. Then we will move on to the next phase where there will be a chance for you guys to do legwork, or possibly even just go for it if you think that you're ready. Real quick, I'm going to ask if tech has capability of putting a timer on screen.
I can try and put a timer on screen. Give me 1 minute. Give me just a second. I'm going to research that real quick and see what I can pull up.
Okay, otherwise I can just set a timer. I have a device here which is useful for doing all kinds of stuff, including timers. So,
it just takes me a moment to see a countdown timer.
Yeah, countdown timer, 15 minutes.
All right. Let me just look at this real quick and see how to do that. And it's a video guide. Give me just half a second. So
I should have prepped this.
Yeah.
I had plenty of time to prep this. I knew this was coming. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Keep
So
building the scene, and I'll let you know.
So, while he's working on that,
Free planning time.
this is group planning time.
Sweet. An extra minute. Slow down. It'll be okay. You don't have to get that timer
Now-
going anytime soon.
Some of you may already have information about this, about the events. Does anybody in the party know things about nobles? This would be on your cartel sheet under things you know about, or possibly under your specialty. Might add an extra thing you know about.
That'd be remarkably convenient.
Does anybody know anything about merchants?
One of my skills is gossip with merchants, and I know the right kind of people.
The right kind of people is a euphemism for criminals.
I can gossip with nobles. I've that in my skill set.
Okay. Might be a good idea for you guys to real quick go around, tell us what your character, like if your character has any nice special powers, special abilities, and maybe the top like 2 skills you've got. Don't worry about mentioning the percentages, but like the 2 or 3 best abilities you have.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where special powers would exist because they weren't in the copy paste things, I don't think.
No, they're not in the copy paste things. There was too much data for me to copy paste that.
Got it.
So you will have to look at your specialties and your cartels. Also, I'll mention that everybody has 1 influence. Now, influence is it represents clout that you've got with your cartel. It also represents a certain amount of money that you have. Everybody starts with 1, and the table itself starts with 1 as well. And then each of your cartels will give you things that your influence can be used
Hello,
for.
everybody, and welcome back to my
So
YouTube
my
channel.
abilities
What's up,
seem to be cleaning up after, cleaning the scene if we leave corpses and
Mhm.
stuff behind, which reduces heat from the
Yes.
previous scene. And I can make a minor character in the background have been bribed and have been bribed all along.
Yes, the cleaner is very good for for that. Because there's a lot of stuff going on, I'm leaving it to your character, to the players, to remember that you've got things like that.
Yeah. All of which is to say, I know we haven't done the go around in the skills thing yet, but I imagine that when we get to legwork, we're gonna want to do stuff like case the joint and talk to people about like what's really going on with this flower.
Yeah. Now, if in case you guys have not gotten up to this point, which might be helpful, this is a heist game. The plot is you're performing a heist, and this focuses heavily on the legwork and the planning, and the making things go right. Because if you do it right, it will run like a Ocean's 11, flawless clockwork kind of, Italian job kind of thing, where just like everything falls into place and there won't be any scramble, there won't be any other problems like that. And I will say that I have run this and had the players cover every angle and the job went completely according to plan once.
All right,
out of all the
quick
games I've
interjection. Is this supposed to be a mission timer?
Sure.
Okay.
This is just for the talking scene here.
Okay, talking scene.
It's just a timer that we will only need for a bit.
Yeah, I'm getting it up right now, so give me just half a tick.
Yeah, so this is the planning, right? Like this is what we're talking about.
Yep. You are planning right now. So what do you know? What do you have? Do you have any ideas? Now is the time to bring it up.
So I'd certainly like, and I think this falls within my character's skill set, maybe some of yours too, to like get like city planning documents about this area that we're going to be going into, like if there's like sewers nearby, or just like get an idea of like the routes in and out of the place. It feels to me, it feels to Octavius like this mission's below our pay limit. What, a simple theft from a shopkeeper's shop. So he's kind of suspicious that there might be more going on behind the scenes.
That's fair.
And definitely,
Sorry, you go first. It's okay.
I definitely agree with you. I want to know as much information about this shop as possible. If there's anything that we got to worry about as far as traps, is there any, entrances that are used for smuggling things in and out? I definitely want to get as much information about it as possible, and even have maybe like an eagle-eyes view from up top, so that we can kind of communicate and kind of call the shots from there.
I can assume different identities, so I can always go in and scope the place out from the inside.
Nice. Yeah, that'll give us a good inside look. Like if we have someone scouting outside, someone scouting inside, we can all do our own thing during the legwork scene, right? Like we don't all have to be together. Cool.
Yeah, during legwork scenes, you will each take the lead on one.
Nice. So outside look, inside look, administrative, like big picture look. What else?
So one of the things I can spend influence on, well, two of the things that might be helpful, is I can acquire an artifact of the Vladov Empire to use as a bribe. If we actually like just want to try to talk to the jeweler and be like, yo, give us this thing for this. Or I can position a few circle bruisers around the perimeter of a building to deter interlopers. So when we actually get to the point where we're like breaking in, that could come in handy perhaps. And my skills, like I can use an alchemical object. I have like 4 that are tied for like my second spot. Appraise something, conceal an object, gossip with merchants, and navigate bureaucracy. So potentially I can gossip with merchants and see if I can find out anything, or just like concealing an object. Obviously that would come in handy when we actually get it.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the idea of taking some legwork just to figure out like how honest this merchant is. Like if we can just go up to him and be like, yo dog, give us the flower. That would be phenomenal.
Does anybody know anything about merchants?
You mean in the sense of it says on our character sheet knowledge
Yeah,
about
in the sense
merchants?
under
Yeah.
your cartel, it would typically say things you know about.
I know about the docks, which means we offload stuff to companies / merchants. Would I know anything?
Yeah, I mean
that regard,
conceivably
like
how the rose got here, like what the how
Yeah,
it got into
I know
town.
ships and sailing and stuff. Was there any shipments, any logistical things that we went out that they might have some kind of itinerary
I think in this
invoice?
case that the docks aren't going to be that useful for you, but that could be an angle that you could approach.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get the timer up tonight. It'll
That's
take some
fine.
more research.
I apologize for putting you on the spot. Thank you for all your hard work.
No problem.
What I can do though is I can spend an influence to obtain one firearm or an explosive for the duration of the job. So if we need to blow something up, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
And also,
Also,
if we need to shoot somebody.
also as a note, because we've got two different sharpshooters in the group, Takashi could have a black powder rifle instead of the heavy crossbow or longbow or whatever your preferred range weapon is, because as a member of the Red Lotus Society, you control gunpowder flow into the city and have access to those kinds of weapons.
Might put us
They're
in
real
the hot
strong.
water in terms of not leaving a body count.
I mean, I could
So-
shoot people in the legs.
So the as a specific note on that, your job is to get the orchid, and if you happen to do it with a 0 body count, you'll get extra reward, and if you happen to manage to destroy the glass flower replica, you'll get extra reward. Those are stretch goals. They're not required for the job. The job is steal the orchid undamaged.
I feel that destroying the glass flower should be relatively easy. We have 2 explosive experts after all.
As a poisoner, it appears that I can create 1 dose of poison that I can describe. And again, this doesn't have to be necessarily a killing dosage. We can irritate, influence, intoxicate other targets. So if we want to incapacitate, I'm thinking that I might be able to create a powder or some kind of poison that's going to be able to incapacitate, knock people down, and then as long as we have some kind of mask to be able to go in afterwards, we should be able to be okay with that. Yeah.
I'm here for it. How much of a stir would this cause? So if we just like, how important is subtlety? If we convince the guy to hand it over to us, presumably they know our face, right?
Well, I can generate distractions, so then we get less heat as well.
That's fair. Yeah, I like all of those potential avenues of exploration.
So I have been watching the time here, and you guys have about 4 minutes left. So maybe come up with. It sounds like you guys are going to go for general legwork. Now might be a good time to discuss what kind of information you think you need. Also, for the alchemist and the poisoner and anybody else who might have that on your sheet, if you need to do stuff, quote, during a planning scene, this is during a planning scene.
Does anyone know anything about like watch patterns? Like, does anyone have an in on like whatever the city guard is?
You know, it's a merchant district. Merchant districts are patrolled, but not very heavily.
Handy. And I guess, does anyone know? I guess this would be the knowledge nobility thing. It'd be nice to know if I imagine the lady Silvertree, if she cares so much about this orchid, she might have left her own guards, some of her own guards in the area. That would be a good thing to know about before going in.
I can. Well, if she's holding a party, I can gain access into the party and speak to her inconspicuously and find out what she knows about the replica and the orchid.
That seems like a thing that we can investigate during this legwork scene coming up. Like, does she have a party happening between today and Saturday? Yeah, no, everyone has a party on Friday, right? They're nobles.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's when you have parties.
If we're gonna do JD's poison, I can alchemize like handkerchiefs into like a gas mask for us, so that like if it is like a gaseous kind of substance or whatever, and it says I have to describe like one potential like hazard or whatever to the user.
Yep.
I guess the potential hazard could be that we have like a time limit, like it's only good for I don't know how time works here. An hour, half an hour, whatever.
Half an hour?
6 minutes. No.
It's good for 3d6 minutes.
There you go.
I thought this was a D8 and D10 system.
I don't know. I just happen to have some dice in front of me, so that's why.
Mine said, I just saw something on the Red Lotus Society. It says, you're conspicuous in merchant, noble, and in the slums. What does that mean?
That actually will lead into the next part of this when we're talking about legwork scenes and conspicuous and heat.
Real quick, before, since we only have like a minute and a half left of this, it might be interesting to research the orchid too, to figure out like why people care about this flower.
Okay.
If anyone wants to grab that task.
Does anybody have, actually, yeah, I don't need to ask. Takashi knows of Tawan culture?
Yes, I know.
Orchids.
Yeah.
Orchids, as in this game, as in real life, are rare because they have such huge like diversity in where they are. And Taylor, like people will hunt down orchids, and it's considered to be a massive status symbol because they're rare, and because they're rare, they're valuable, and because they're valuable, they end up being rare and sought after prizes by rich people with nothing better to spend their money on. Otherwise, they're just a flower, although pretty.
Okay, so we shouldn't expect the orchid to like explode or something.
No.
No magical properties.
You shouldn't. I won't say that it's going to be unexpected, but that would be unexpected.
Okay.
Not saying that it can't happen. I'm just saying it would be unexpected that it happened. All right.
I'll be very sneaky and get the exact location of the orchid if I need to.
All right. So we are now moving away from the planning scene. The rest of you head out into the various places that you would do for your nighttime. We sort of abstracted out because, as I mentioned at the very beginning, you guys all had things that you were doing, and those things don't necessarily stop. So we abstracted out where you go out and you eat and you manage your business, and we move on to the next part of the scene, where we go into a day phase. Now, during this, typically at this point in time, you guys would have you guys would be doing legwork scenes, but you have three options when it comes to performing your scenes and doing things, which is planning, which we just finished, legwork, which each of you will take the lead on a short legwork scene, and then finally there's a drama scene, which is usually reserved for go time on that. Now, before we go on too much further, there is a thing in the middle which is labeled as heat. Heat represents how much the law enforcement are on you for doing criminal activities, which is what you guys are. You're planning a job, and just naturally for being there, everybody generates one heat. Now, if you perform a legwork scene in a place that you are conspicuous, you will generate a couple of extra heat for that spot. And this is tracked on that big round dot right there in the middle that's labeled as heat. Currently, you have 6 because there are 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 of you. Heat can also go up if you are reckless, noisy, messy, get spotted in a bad way, and then that is actually added on at the end of every scene. Fortunately, you have a cleaner, so that if somebody really messes something up, the cleaner can come in and smooth things off a bit there. functionally, in a game mechanics standpoint, I have a variety of things that I can do called complications that I can bring in by spending heat. So if you guys have generated very little heat, then but my hands are tied. There's limited stuff that I can bring in to throw monkey wrenches in. But if you generate a lot of heat, you know what? Generate a lot of heat. Let's just go with that.
What could possibly go wrong?
Nah, yeah. What could possibly go wrong? So now we're going to go real quickly, and we're going to go through legwork scenes, presumably, unless you guys want another planning spot. During the legwork scene, each of the members of the crew is going to take the lead, and this is actually on you. Under the journal, there is a section which is the scene guide. I'm actually just going to show this to everybody. This would be in the backs of the player cards. And it talks about what during the legwork scene, and that blue box in the middle says, tell me what you want out of the scene, where you're going to go get it, how you're going to get it, and who you might interact with. And then I will help work that out, and we'll play it out. Usually it culminates in 1 or 2 dice rolls at the end. Who wants to take a legwork scene?
Question for me and JD, the alchemist and the poisoner, is that our legwork, or was that just
you did that during a planning scene? Okay. It's done. You have a half a dozen of these gas masks that will block out poison. They work for a variable length of time, so there might be a problem with them. And Morgan has put together a gas that, what does that gas do again? I forgot. It's a aerated powder, if I remember correctly.
That's correct. It's triggered by fire, so maybe a cigarette or whatever the case may be. Okay. And the one thing I forgot to mention, I think I saw in there, is the danger associated with it. So if you do touch it, though, it does cause 2nd-degree burns to your whatever source. So you definitely don't want to touch it.
All right.
So the idea is that you kind of like vial it into the air and ignite it, and it incapacitates. Nice.
Okay. All right.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, if no one else wants to go first, I will happily take a legwork scene to go to some administrative district and try to get the like blueprints of the jeweler's shop and kind of surrounding area. What I want to get out of the scene is like entrances and exits, especially if there's hidden ones. The place I'm going to get it is some kind of administrative district. Sure. How I'm going to get it is by looking through files and paperwork, and there might be some like bureaucrat there to interact with.
That I think is precisely correct. I would say that there is a bureaucrat who is just like the boring clerk that is that finds filing systems to be fascinating, and basically just has this job of maintaining records, because you need to maintain records if you're going to do new construction or whatnot. Now, in order to not raise suspicion and do a lot of things like that, you're probably going to need to do any sort of convincing. And I should also ask, other people can come with you on these legwork scenes if you think you're going to need help. In this case, I don't think you're going to need any help. I think you're probably just going to be able to handle it.
God, I hope so.
And this would be taking place in, probably a commoner's district, just wherever they figure it was important, put it down. That's not particularly valuable real estate. So you're most likely not going to be conspicuous there. Correct. If you are, let me know.
Nope. Yep.
All right. And I think it's just, you got to convince him that you like that to help you find the thing you're looking for, unless you've got some other plan on that. And this would be bureaucracy. There's specifically as a navigate bureaucracy skill.
Yeah. I mean, the approach I think is going to be like me rolling in and just like straightforward, like glaring down at him from my kind of tall height and saying, I need to see these files. And it's kind of like,
yeah, it seems very straightforward. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our first roll of the game. You do you know what your navigate bureaucracy skills
It is 80.
It is 80. Excellent. So to make this work properly, with my fingers crossed, because it's worked previous in test, but you click on your character token, and then you should have in the upper left-hand corner a button that says like plus player skill check.
Yep.
Now it's going to ask you 2 questions. Do you have any advantage dice, and do you have any disadvantage dice? In this case, no, this is just a straightforward, unless you've got something for your character that if you deal with commoners, you get a bonus or anything like that.
Nope.
Then it's just going to be a straight roll. And when you click the button and click OK, it comes there. Now, for record, and for those playing along in the home game, he rolls a D100 percentile dice. He's looking to make his number or less. And in this case, he rolled a 16. It's definitely less than 80. You succeed. You spend several hours digging through paperwork, and you find a map of the building. And in fact, you find information about the whole building block. I'm going to move you guys over to here.
Sweet.
This is, I think you guys are seeing this and some black screen there. But because you have full access, I'm going to go ahead and give you, I'm just going to reveal the whole thing.
Sweet.
Yeah, this is fine. All right. So Cotter's Jewels is located on a street in a merchant district. It is a row of shops with residences above. To the south of it, on the street, there is a store that sells custom like girdles and harnesses and like leather works. To the north of it is a bakery shop that specialized in selling just cupcakes, and it went under because who wants a shop that just sells cupcakes? So it is currently an abandoned shop. The building itself has thick walls that run between them to support the above, and it has 2 floors above there which contain for residences. So it's a 3-story structure in this row of houses. It backs onto an alleyway. The row of buildings behind the alley are all like 6-story tall with heavy pitched roofs. And it's actually a fairly decent way from a nearby bridge, which goes with the nearby canal. This particular merchant district is a little bit nicer than some of the others, and it's got trees on the street. Not nice.
How pleasant. Cool. All right.
And now you have a pretty good lineup. Actually, let me show you the other floors. They're off to the right. Those are the second, and then below that are the 3rd floors of the building.
Cool. 50.
There you go.
And that's it for me, right? Like,
and that's it for you.
That's what
so
I get.
next legwork scene.
For my legwork scene, do you want me to go to the party, or do you want me to go into the merchant shop and see where they hide?
That sounded like a question that I would ask you.
I was asking the group.
Oh.
Follow your heart.
If you're going to go into the shop, I don't mind helping you if I need to be stealthy and.
Yeah, I can cause it. Yeah, I can cause a distraction and change my appearance. So yeah, that'll work. Do you want to come with me?
Absolutely.
Okay. So so you guys head down to the shop now that you've information about where it is and how it goes. The whole scene is sort of abstracted, so it's presumed that you guys get a chance to like talk to each other in between scenes, and this can take place at various times of day. This can take place at various times of day, so it could be taking place in the early morning, like maybe before the shop just opened, or the late afternoon, or lunchtime, or whatnot.
Probably
Um,
the late afternoon, and I'm just gonna disguise myself as a merchant noble.
Okay. All right. And what are you hoping to get out of this scene? Are you just going to try to case it and get a feeling for it, or do you have something specific that you're looking for?
So I'm gonna try and convince him and read his emotions to figure out like where he keeps it and how guarded it is.
Okay. Well, I'll give you some information going in.
Yep.
So first off, no, she's big. There is an assistant who works the storefront, named who introduced herself as Garnet, and there are sitting around in the room 2 private security guards, just in the room here. One of them standing by this back door and staircase, which is roped off. You know that the staircase leads up to the upper floors where the residences are. And one is just inconspicuously standing over here by the door in a very conspicuous manner. Cotter's Jewels is a jewelry shop that specializes in like custom art designs. It's not so much it's less likely to jewels and more likely to have like necklaces and earrings, and more likely to have art pieces and statues that feature valuable jewels. Gutting in there, you ask about Cotter himself, and Garnet very pleasantly tells you he's unfortunately really busy with working on a special for a client, and he's not able to come out to see you. If you want to make an appointment for next week, he should be able to have time then. If you want to meet with him, I'm really sorry. She seems really sincere, or at least really well practiced at her job of sounding very sincere.
So can I try and read her emotions to see how sincere she actually is?
Yeah, I mean, she's working in a high-end merchant shop and has been told that nobody bothers the boss. You get that out of it. I'm not going to make you make a roll for that. You read her emotions. She's, she doesn't want to lose a sale because she feels vested in the company, but is not, or in the business, but is not on. Words have just failed me.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Can I try and convince her to let us go in and see her because it's of an urgent matter?
Yes. This is Cordelia. Who else came with you?
I did.
William.
Apologize, I don't have your characters by voice yet. All right. So you can go in there and you can go ahead and attempt to do this. Yep. Now, note that you were trying to do this kind of work at the place where you're planning to do this job. So this is actually quite risky. So what I'm going to want you to do is I'm going to want you to make some sort of convince somebody roll. In fact, convince somebody might be your skill.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm going to give you 2 disadvantage dice on this. Disadvantage dice don't mean that you won't succeed. It just means that something bad might happen. And if you've got any reason that you might have advantage dice, you can go on that. Now, William's with you. He might be able to provide you with some sort of cover. Or maybe some way to assist you in this case.
I'm trying to think of what I could do. I was planning on sneaking around, but that's okay. I definitely want to help you out.
I mean, if you want to call this your legwork scene too, and you do a sneak around
Yeah.
while she's on that,
Yeah, if nothing
just
else,
be
she's probably
present
pretty
at the same
distracting.
time.
Yeah.
I would definitely
Um,
like.
that actually might help too. The session's short, so we do have a bit of time crunch. So let's call this your legwork scene as well.
Good.
So maybe you're not with her if you're going to be sneaking around, because getting in the front door is maybe not the best way. Or maybe it is, and you just plan on going by while they're not paying attention.
If she's causing, because I know you were saying that you wanted to cause a distraction, and so I'd love to. If she's causing a distraction, I would love to use that to sneak around. But I'm also supposed to going through the back.
1 second. Had to turn the fan on. All right. Now you know that the back, there's an alleyway that runs behind the building, and there are metal doors that are locked, that are like emergency exit kind of thing. Getting in the back may be trickier than you want, but let's go ahead and take Cordelia's roll first. Cordelia, you are trying to convince her, and you're taking a 2 dice disadvantage on this. So when it asks you for disadvantage dice, you say 2.
Where does it say that?
When you click on your character, I'll take your 16, but if you click on your character token, in the upper left corner, there's a button that appears that says PC skill check.
I can't even see my token.
Did I put these on the wrong? You should see them. There. In the middle of Cotter's jewels.
I'm just zooming in. Sorry.
It's in the blue area on the map there.
Okay, so I clicked on it, and then
in the upper left-hand corner, do you see the button?
That says PC. Yep, skill check.
Yep, and you click that.
Yeah.
And then as you advantage, and you have none, and disadvantage, you have 2.
Challenge dice 0.
Challenge dice. Okay, so no problems. You're able to talk her into it, and she says, "Okay, look, you've got a. I'll let you go back there, and I'll let you see him, real briefly, but he's really, really busy. We really can't disturb him, and so, but if you want to just come with me." And so you convince her to come back, and they open up the back room here, and there are. First thing you notice is there are 2 guards in here, that are by. That are House Silvertree guards, and you also spot another woman who is just sort of hanging out in there. She is dressed in armor, which is, as you can imagine, for a Renaissance setting, is kind of unusual. Has the mark of House Silvertree on her, and then there he is in the corner, working variously on the flower, which is currently kept in what looks to be a bell jar, on his shelf, while he is working on the glass flower directly in front of it. The bell jar being like a foot tall glass thing attached to a base. It looks easily maneuverable. And when you get in there, the woman steps up. She is real tall. Blonde hair. If this was a movie, Gwendolyn Christie would play her. She's like, what is it, Garnet? We're want to get things done here. And she's like, oh no, a potential client just wanted to see the back room. It's fine, don't worry about it. And she backs off. It's clear that this woman is much more in charge of what's going on there. More on her in a bit, but that's the information that you get from there, which is there's 4 people and this other woman and where the thing is kept. I think it's pretty successful for a legwork scene there.
Yeah.
Cool. William is using this opportunity to break in some way. How is William going to sneak around the place?
There's a lot more people in that room than I was hoping for. That's okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty small room, and there's like 3-4 people in it.
Absolutely. If I am with her, I would, and so she didn't go in the room. She
got the door open, and that's as far as you got.
Gotcha. Okay. Is there any way? Is there any way that I could sneak in and look around?
This would be pretty epic for you to be able to pull that off.
That's what I figured.
I would give you a lot of disadvantage dice, and if any of them came up bad, it would be very bad for you.
Sure. No. That's okay. I kind of figured.
But you could potentially, with a sneak around check, I would say that you might be able to slip up the stairs and be able to check out what's on the upper floors of the building, if that's something that you would want to do.
That I rather do. At least we can, if it's eliminate some of them.
So I am, because this is a dangerous thing because you're doing it at the location, I am going to give you 2 disadvantage dice. But this would be a sneak around check unless you've got something better.
I don't know if this is going to make a difference, but I have 2 advantage dice when it comes to being sneaky.
That absolutely makes a difference. So when you come to rolling dice, you will roll your 2 advantage dice as well.
Okay, so I roll 2 disadvantage.
2 advantage and 2 challenge. Yeah.
That sounds ridiculously fun. Okay. And then yes, you asked me something else, and I think I may have missed it.
Sneak around, unless you've got something else.
Okay.
So you're gonna click your character, click the roll, and you're doing this as a sneak around check, unless you have another kind of skill that you think is more appropriate.
Okay. No. Yeah, it would be sneak around.
Okay.
Okay, and I just put the percentage in.
No, you click on you click on your character, click the button, and then ask you how many advantage and how many challenge dice you've got, and then it will roll it for you, and then we have to manually compare that to your actual skill.
Gotcha. Okay. And the challenge dice is disadvantage.
Yes.
Okay, so 2 of each.
The game calls them challenge dice, but D&D has corrupted me to call them disadvantage dice.
That's cool.
All right. So you succeeded at the check with an 8, because that's definitely good enough. And then for boons and complications, you got one of the dice came up with a one of the dice, the boon dice came up good, and one of the challenge dice came up bad, and they cancel each other out. So there's no real problem with that. You sneak around upstairs, and that you find that there are, if you look off to the right here, there's a break room, and there are 4 additional guards sleeping in the second floor. Well, 2 of them are sleeping, and the 2 of them are very clearly off duty there. You don't disturb them, and you do manage to make it up to the top floor where you're able to look around. Now, there's 2 things that you find up here. One, in Cotter's bedroom, which is in the back of the top floor, there is a safe laid out there. And another thing is there is a dog who is currently sleeping, but is not, and so you managed to not disturb because you succeeded your check, but could prove to be a problem if you were sneaking around here at a later point.
Sure.
Does the dog count towards the body count? I bet that's something that
I'm not going to answer that question because I don't want to get into trouble with certain people.
Fair. I bet Lady What's Her Face cares about the dog. We won't kill the dog. That's fine.
I'd say John Wick would say yes.
Okay.
There you go. So that was 2 more legwork scenes done. Who else has a legwork scene that they need or want to perform?
I'm just gonna go to that like leatherwork shop and do my little gossip with merchants thing.
Okay.
I'm just gonna try to get, in like a very roundabout way, the patterns or personalities of like everybody in the shop next door. Like are all these people always there all the time? Like, do the guards go out? Do they like to drink? Like,
that makes perfect sense. This seems fairly straightforward. This sounds like a gossip with commoners or gossip with merchants. If you've either one of those, I'll take it.
Yep, I have gossip with merchants.
Okay, and so just go ahead and do the gossip with merchants.
All right, let's have the zoom back in and let me switch scenes. Here I am. I have no advantage.
Didn't you already have a legwork scene where you got the plans, or was I mistaking that with somebody else?
No, I didn't. That was Sam.
It was me. I got the floor plans.
Ah, okay, you got the plans.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Go on, carry on.
Yeah. I don't have advantage, right?
No, unless you've got some reason why you have advantage. I don't think you do.
Okay. No challenge. Here we go. 53.
Okay. Do you have? You'll have to check your character sheet or your specialty sheet. What your skill is with gossip with merchants or gossip with commoners.
80%.
So no problem. So you go in there and you talk to the guy who's working. He's pretty young, but he's affable, and you're able to chat him up. He mentions that this last week there's been a lot more security there. Now, it's not uncommon for Cotter to basically live at the shop, right? He works all day, he sleeps all night, he goes out occasionally. The girl goes home at night, but in this last week, there's basically always like 8 guards there, and then there's the tall, blonde, armored lady from House Silvertree, who's there during the daytime most of the time, and then she comes and visits once or twice at night, usually about 7 and about 9, give or take, just to make sure that the guards are not like slacking off and drinking or whatnot. I also had another bit of information here because we have a member of the circle who knows about this. That woman, Kiata Vostov, is House Silvertree guard, and she was a former member of the circle until she found it was more profitable to go straight. She's pretty good in a fight. She's real tough, real strong, and quick with a broadsword. And she also has. She's also particularly good at spotting misdirection. Just to be aware on that point. I forgot about that because that's a thing that you would know about once you get introduced to the character because you've a member of the circle.
Cool.
Okay.
Your job here is done.
Your job here is done. All right. Who else has a legwork scene to do?
I've got one. I'm thinking that what I would be wanting to do is actually go in to the shop individually at one point during the day and speak to the highest. So I think that we had who runs the front, the shopkeep.
Garnet runs the front. I can actually make these visible to you guys.
If your name is Garnet, you basically have to work at a place like this, right? Like
yeah.
she was fated.
All right, there's Garnet.
Perfect.
And then this is just the quickest and easiest way to make these. That's Vatia Kostov using some art I've got from another part. And then Gelfring Cotter. There was one other bit of information I missed earlier. This is what I get for not checking my notes. In the back, of the shop, there is a large walk-in safe. It is built into the wall and has a very large and sort of complicated mechanism on it, which is a Sterling brand safe. Does anybody know anything about security systems? I think that's typically a thief function, but no, that's fine too. There we go. There's the last character. And all right, so I've made all of these visible to you so that you guys can look under the Orca job and see all the different characters that you have run into so far.
Foof. Justice for Foof.
Okay.
So I would like to come in and present myself as obviously a member of the Vesper family. So I come in. I have jewels that I would like to pawn, and I would like to kind of engage in a discussion of I've got some things that I would like to exchange with you. I've got some things I'd like to buy from you, but I've got a small package that's going to be delivered here soon that's coming off of a ship from the docks. And I want to know a good time that I might be able to have that delivered here and to have it here for safekeeping. Do you have a place if I was to, because I trust you, I've heard great things about your shop. And I want to make sure that if I have some jewels that are coming in from an overseas shipment, that I could get them taken care of here. And it would be a small box, just maybe about 1 foot by 1 foot.
So you are, the goal for what you're trying to get out of the scene is you're trying to plant the idea that you are, that a shipment is going to arrive and they should expect it and receive it.
In about a day, and I want to make sure that nothing happens to it. It's a very expensive piece of jewelry coming in for the Vesper family, and again, we typically have jewelers.
Also, to be clear on this one, in case anybody gets confused, the Vespers is the criminal organization that typically preys upon nobles, and they're not specifically a family. Just to let you know that not like Silvertree or Dayweather, who are the noble houses that you've dealt with so far in this adventure.
Okay.
Just to be clear on that one, because don't want to make terminology mixed up.
Perfect. So yes, that's what as far as legwork, that this scene, it would be about for me trying to get a box shipment that they would be expecting, that they would receive, and that they would bring in and maybe even place in a safe for me.
Okay. So because this is a location, I think that this is going to be particularly dangerous. So I'm going to give you 2 challenge dice just off. Because this is the second job second time that somebody's come in there shiftily asking stuff, I'm going to actually throw another die on there as well as a challenge dice. And then this would have to require you to make some sort of convince, like a strong convince somebody roll, I would think. Do you have a particular skill that you had in mind for this one?
I did. Let me see here. So Gesper is not considered noble, is he? Are there any nobles within the shop?
Cotter, nobody working the shop is considered to be nobles.
Okay.
Cotter's Jewels is Silvertree's personal jeweler, which you've got that. I believe I gave you that information earlier. But nobody in here is a noble. It's all commoners and merchant types.
Okay. So let me see here. So as a skill set, so would this be considered lying to somebody, or?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay.
So you're weaving a web of lies and planning the idea that this package will arrive and that they should accept it.
Right, and at one point, the concealing of that object would be something for down the line.
That's a later problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
Okay.
Problem for future Morgan.
Okay. So click on my token, and then
Click the button in the upper left.
okay.
And then 3 challenge dice or disadvantage dice.
And do I put -3?
No, you use a positive number. It's fine.
Okay. Okay, and where do I go to roll?
Once you've clicked the OK, it'll ask you how many advantage and then how many challenge, and then once you click that OK, it just does it.
Sorry, I'm having some difficulty here. So in the red box, in the red circle, I've got a 3. I've got a 1 in the blue, and then I've got a 100 in the green.
You're not clicking on the right thing.
Okay.
When you click on it, there's a square button that appears in the top left corner next to the little toolbar you got in the top left corner.
Okay.
And it says PC skill check.
Okay, there it is.
And then when you click that button, it then
got it.
asks you to.
Okay, and then 3 there.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go. All right, so you got a 39, which is definitely successful, and so the idea is well seated, and you get a boon for that. So when you let me check my notes here. So as you were talking about laying this in here, she tells you that she tells you that it's not really great that you're delivering it now, but she understands that certain things can't wait, and they'll be happy to receive it for you. They'll forego the deposit because you seem a fine, upstanding individual, she. Hang on a second. And in addition to that, she says that that they will take any sort of special precautions you want with this package, including storing it in their secure vault. And you also get like the keys. Like she opens up like a cabinet and fiddles through there, and like leaves the keys right on the counter, which is not like for the shop to get in, which is not very difficult for you at all to just palm.
Sweet.
So I presume that you just do that. So you now have keys to the shop, so you don't have to break in if you come in at night.
Perfect. Yes.
So that was the thing. Now, Takashi, the last one, I believe, to do a legwork scene.
Yeah. So what I was thinking of doing, was going down to the docks.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to figure out where this orchid came from, what other, like, if there's like a distributor or company that might have like moved it here.
Okay.
Any information about the orchid itself.
Okay. So you're looking to get information. What do you hope to find?
I'm mostly just hoping for information at this point. I'm hoping to get like some kind of because everyone's doing everything in terms of figuring out a layout to the plans, a layout to like. I'm trying to figure out if there's like another orchid we could get.
Yeah, if there's a switcheroo potential, or like a less good flower,
or
that
even
looks
some
cursorily-
way, or even some way of me, if things don't go right, we could get another orchid and trick our original person who hired us into thinking we got the right one, and we actually swapped hers with like some kind of swap-a-roo thing, some backup plan basically.
Okay. So, who do you think would be the person you would talk to down there? Who's your guy? Who's the one that would be able to get you that information about rare orchids coming in? Because that would definitely be noteworthy, and you would know somebody.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I got a guy in who knows about the. You know how there's the, what is it? There's always somebody who, if they run the docks, especially since I'm a town.
I'm looking for a name.
Yeah.
Who is this person that you know?
We're gonna call him Lioness.
All right, and Lioness is. You go down and you talk to Lioness, and you're like, hey, and you chat him up, and it sounds like you were going to try to just gossip with commoners on this.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any sort of bonuses to doing this kind of a role?
Let's see here. All I know is I know things about the docks, ship and sailing. I don't know if I know anything about. I don't know if I have any bonuses. Where would I find? Where would I find? It would be
under
bonuses?
Your cartel might have them. Red Lotus Society, I think, gets benefits for dealing with the docks. Maybe not, but you're not conspicuous down there.
Yeah, I'm not conspicuous at the docks.
But I'll tell you what. Because this is something that would be imported from from Teona, and it would be a thing you'd know. The Lioness would be Tau's and would also have that. You'd have that connection there. So I'm going to give you 1 advantage dice on this.
Okay.
So go ahead and gossip with commoners and take a 1 advantage dice.
My goss. Oh shoot! I don't have. I just have anything else. So I have 50%.
Anything else? Anything else is a way to work it.
All right. Let's see. It's a 50-50. Where do I roll this? Is this?
Click on your character token. Click on the button that appears in the upper left-hand corner.
PC skill check. All right, and then I get 1 advantage dice.
And you get 1 advantage dice.
Okay. 0 challenge dice.
So yeah, you talk to Lioness. Lioness tells you that it was a pretty rare find that comes in. They do import some of these, and they actually are expecting one in, not this particular kind because these flowers are all very different from each other. But they got a pretty good look at it, and there's another one that's going to be similar, that's not quite as rare and valuable that's coming in just this evening, and that he would be able to potentially let it go for, he knows the guy who's buying it, so you might be able to work out something on that. But specifically, the last one that came in was known at is a very specific and known one. So
right. So swapping it would probably not be a good idea.
Swapping it would not work for your contact. It might work for Lady Silvertree because this other one that's coming in looks very similar to them, but somebody who's in the know would know.
Okay, all right.
And
so we could trick Lady Silvertree.
Yeah, and Lady Dayweather, who is your patron for this mission. Given the status of her gardens and how much flowers she had, you suspect you wouldn't be able to trick her, but you might be able to trick Lady Silvertree, and he'd be willing to let it go for not a lot of money. That on that point, you have a couple ways which you could get it from him. You could spend influence is one of the things you could do to just represent wealth, and you could just buy it off of this guy, or potentially doing a legwork scene, you could steal it from him. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Maybe something I might ask another party member to do. Or
so we are down to the end of the night, or end of the day. The sun sets over the city, and we are back into picking out what our next scenes will be for the next day. Did anybody perform legwork in a place that they were conspicuous? I don't think so. I should have asked on each scene, but I don't think so.
It says that I'm conspicuous in all, I think it says all regions during the day. I know we were there late afternoon.
Yeah, so you were there during the day. So I'm going to go ahead and add 8 total heat. 6 because you guys are on a new day, and 2 because you were conspicuous in that one scene.
I was conspicuous in merchant and noble scenes. So.
Okay, so that was another 2 heat. All right.
But with when I was with William, I have a distraction, so my crew members don't generate heat for being conspicuous in scenes.
Excellent. Well, then I will take 2 heat off. There you go.
Nice. So this puts us back into the planning phase?
So now you guys have a choice. You can perform another round of legwork scenes if you feel there's more information you need. You could do another planning phase if you want to really work out what your plan is. Or if you want to go for it, you can go for it.
I can use an influence to, like I was saying earlier, have people on the rooftops or place people on the rooftops and have us give us like signals while we're doing this. Is the influence just one per person, or is it?
Everybody has a single influence, and there's one influence that can be shared by the table.
Are we gonna run out of time if we do a planning and then a legwork?
You won't have time for a legwork. So,
okay, we have one more essentially before we have to
it
do
is Friday
this.
night now. So if you do a planning now, then we'll do a planning now, and actually, and then tomorrow basically is the last segment you've got because it's in afternoon it leaves, so you won't have time to do legwork beforehand.
So
if you've got more legwork you need to do it now.
So we can't both plan and nab the flower, is what you're saying?
Correct.
The spare flower.
You could, as I mentioned before, that is a thing that Takashi or potentially your table influence could do, is spend an influence and you just get the spare flower.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because it represents money and it represents influence in your cartel, and you're just like, hey, I need to buy this flower. I need somebody to go over there and get it for me. And that's kind of what it is.
Right.
You have a bunch of other things that you can spend influence on, but there's sort of general gist of stuff. So if you have a legwork scene that you've got planned out that you think that your cartel could handle for you, you could spend influence to have your cartel handle a legwork scene for you. And you could do that basically at any time. If you needed to have a legwork done tomorrow morning, but for go time, you could do that by spending influence.
Because I feel like we've got all the puzzle pieces of a really bomb-ass plan here, but we've got to figure out how to put it together, and I don't know if we can do that without.
I'm going to suggest that you guys take another planning scene.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying. We've got really cool stuff here, but I think we need to talk it out and figure out how we're going to use it all.
All right, then I will put you in. Get the planning music going. Now, where are you doing this planning scene? You could do it in a variety of places, but there's always a chance that law-abiding citizens will just happen to wander in on you.
We can do it in my safe house, and I can spend my influence to do that.
Okay. You want to tell us about your safe house?
It's in a inn for the duration of the job.
Okay.
Just a regular inn that that we do performances at.
Okay. And it's like the green room in the back of the inn. No performances. Yeah. No performances today. Not since the fire.
Yeah.
All right. Because this is a scene taking a planning scene taking place at a place that you've not done it before, and it's the back of an inn where fire has been taking place, and you've got props and other things there. I'm going to give you guys one influence for the table. So you now have 2 table influence that you can spend on things. And because of the time crunch, I am actually going to shorten this time to this planning scene to just 10 minutes. So, go.
It seems to me that the main thing we're gonna have to do is deal with Katya Vostov, right? Like she's gonna be there. It's gonna be tomorrow morning. Since her deal is that she's kind of key to distractions, I wonder if there's a thing that we can do where we make it look like we've bungled the job, right? Like we make it seem like, oh, she caught us, whatever. But somehow we've slipped in a flower switch behind her. So she thinks she's chased us off, but really we've swapped out the real flower for the fake one that Takashi has found. I don't know what the mechanics of that are, but that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now.
A 5D chess play. You've caught me, but you haven't caught me.
And I can make disguises for everyone. Create a disguise for everyone. So then it's not our real identities.
Nice.
I was thinking that inside of this box that they would have initially had by now is going to have enough of these little poison packets that we'll be able to open it up and use it at our discretion. So you'll each be able to take one, throw it inside of the room, put your mask on, and then be able to have incapacitated individuals available. So we should have more than enough poison to go around for whoever's inside of the room.
Sounds like you're spending your planning scene making more of this poison.
It would have come yes.
As your poison, as your planning scene poisoner function. That's what you're doing for this planning scene. You're making an extra big dose so everyone can have them.
That's right.
Cool.
Like I said, I would use my influence to have my cartel just out there, just calling the shots, whatever they can see in windows, any guards coming up, relaying any, messages to the entire team, learning certain signals. Like that's what I would like to use.
Okay.
So.
Cool. All right. So you talk to your guys and say, hey, I need people on scene here to call the shots. Okay.
If we wait until after 9, we won't have to worry about that chick because she leaves and then comes back at 7 and comes back at 9 to check on the guards. So if we
That's in the evening. During the day, she's there the whole day.
Yeah.
But
I think, is this not the evening? Are we not planning the evening time right now?
You're planning during the night. The days you're gonna have to do this during the daytime.
We're taking up our night to do the planning, so it's gonna be tomorrow morning.
Gotcha.
Okay. Can we get flipped back to the map?
Sure.
Thanks.
And whoever wants to make entry, I've got the keys to the shop as well. So whoever wanted to breach, so we don't have to break the door, I've got the keys.
Yeah.
Do we need a way into the safe?
When you're doing the job, you can do it in the really early morning, like before the shop opens, for example, up to the afternoon.
Cool. So far as we know, the flower is sitting just on the table, right? It's not in the safe.
When you got a chance to look at it, he's sitting back here on his workbench, and the flower is basically just on the table.
Right. It might get moved to the safe. It might get moved to anywhere. So I guess we should be prepared for that. But yeah, I mean, I guess what are the steps of this plan? What are we thinking for like who's going to be where and how we're going to distract off or cordon off various different guards who are going to come out for us?
I can use my influence. If we need to get them out of the room, I can get one of my performers to do some street performance outside. Not sure how that'll help.
I could help with an escape plan. So if there's a shit ton of people outside, I guess that depends though. If at nighttime, would there be a big enough crowd for that?
But it's gonna be tomorrow morning.
Right.
Yeah, this plan is gonna have to take place in the daytime.
Okay, it has to take place.
Bold daytime robbery.
Okay.
Classic.
Okay, so then yeah, if there's a giant squad of people performing and drawing a huge crowd, we could blend into the crowd, right, to run away.
Yeah. So At which point the keys aren't going to be super necessarily because the shop will be open. I'm wondering if there's a way that we can like draw off some of the guards before we try to like breach into the back room, essentially.
I mean, isn't that what the poison's supposed to be for? To like incapacitate them?
Oh, is the idea that we're just going to come in and like drop poison, just like take out everyone with the poison and go that way? I dig it.
I think so.
Easy.
Yeah.
Then I can spend influence to get explosives. So we can explode the safe if there's the flowers in there.
I think explosives are a good idea. There's no bad time for explosives.
There's never a bad time for explosions. Yeah.
Right. At the very least, if we need to have a different escape plan, we can go out the back door. I guess you can just open it.
Or even a different entry plan.
Yeah.
We can have multiple entries.
I can spend an influence to put some of my circle bruisers around, like outside. So this way, like nobody comes into the jewelry store. Like, what's going on?
What is this area back here?
Alleyway.
It's the alleyway behind the buildings.
It's an alleyway. Okay.
Yeah, it's real narrow. Just like 10 feet across.
Have we checked the alleyway?
Yeah, you went down the alleyway. Presumably, you went down the alleyway at some point in time. It's just
Okay.
it's a dark alley. It opens on both ends. It's straight and yeah.
Well, I think that I could definitely be one of those that are in there. It would make sense for me to be in there. I'd be waiting for my package, so that wouldn't be too conspicuous for me to already be in there. I can conceal one of my gas masks, maybe under kind of a larger robe. So I'm inside of there waiting for my package. Once the package arrives, maybe if one of you want to come in as the courier, like to drop off the package, that would really help. And there would be already two of us in there.
I can do that because I can do disguises.
Nice. I want to set up the possibility of like just having an explosion, like maybe using the bomb, like using a bomb or something like it at this door, just to if something goes wrong, distract people. Maybe it's not a bomb, but it's like just in case there's a problem. I like to have like a failsafe in there.
I could alternatively use an influence to have a member of my cartel set off fireworks to cover noise.
Cool.
That's something we need to do. So we can mask the explosion as fireworks.
Right. That takes down its distract. I mean, depends on what we're using the explosion for. If the explosion is to distract, I mean, the fireworks, I guess, would just distract themselves.
Yeah.
All right. You guys have about a couple minutes left.
Okay, so who wants to be the person who can pretend to be the courier?
I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll disguise myself as one.
Yeah, so the two of you are in the shop. Where are other people stationing themselves? I know, Michael, you said that you were going to be kind of like taking the bird's eye view.
Exactly. So if there's anything that I need to like signal to anybody to warn, and if any emergencies, if I need to take out people from afar, or I want to be on the outside while somebody's going in, just to kind of have that added support.
You guys can also I put your character's tokens on the map. You can grab them with the clicker button and drag them to where you think that you're going to be at the start of this event.
Cool. We can also walk into the shop and be like, "This is a fucking robbery," and then take a hostage and take Morgan as a hostage. Like, this is a hostage situation now.
I think we've got multiple overlapping plans right now.
If you move and execute one of you.
I imagine I'll just be out in the street somewhere, keeping an eye out. I'm shit for combat skills, so I'm not going to be able to help if any like push comes to shove in here.
Mm.
And then Takashi and William are on the on the street or situated on roofs or across the street, various buildings?
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out what would count as a building from afar.
Just
There was like
half covered by the black is I can call that as in or on a nearby building.
I can also produce a hearse as a getaway vehicle, if such a thing is desirable.
All right. So at this point in time, this is the point in time where you're going to need to spend any of that influence you've got, because you won't be able to be like mid-time and phone up your buddies to show up. So we have currently a bunch of lookouts coming in. These are Wardens of the Night lookouts that will be helping you out with various just keeping an eye on the street, correct? And who else? What else do we have influence being spent on?
My bruisers will be kind of like around like where the trees are.
Okay, and then we're getting a lot of bruisers.
Yeah, I'll call in a hearse. Never hurts to have a vehicle handy.
Okay. So I believe everyone should have had their deducted out their influence. Is anybody else spending any influence before this situation goes?
I'm spending mine on. Yes. Which one do we want? Do we want the explosive?
Don't forget that there's also 2 influence that you can spend from the table. Anybody can spend that outside of your own personal.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could use your influence for the explosive, and if we think that a swap flower would be helpful, we can spend one of the table influence on the swap flower.
Okay.
I don't know that we're necessarily trying to conceal this crime, though, so I don't know if the swap flower is necessarily helpful.
Yeah, probably not.
Like, we're going in pretty aggro here.
All right.
There's one. We don't have time for another legwork thing, right?
No, it is now. It is now daytime. You guys or mid-morning. You're coming in there. Morgan and set up already. Cordelia's coming in with a package to be the delivery. We are now going into what is called a drama scene. And drama scenes are similar to legwork scenes, only they're much more like the traditional role-playing game. We will be playing this out, and you guys may engage in combat. I really like the combat in this system because the way it works is that everybody has 100 points of luck, which hasn't come up to this point, but these are sort of like your hit points. Also, and certain, like, specifically name foe enemies typically have luck. Minions follow a different set of rules, but it falls on the same point that if you're going to engage in combat, you are going to roll a skill check against whichever skill you happen to be using against them. Now, they fall into violence and talking. If you're using a social skill of some sort, it can be basically anything. You can use bureaucracy as a social skill. You could use gossip as a social skill, and these can be attacks that can drain the target of their luck points. If your luck runs out and if you're being socially attacked, you'll acquiesce to whatever it is that they want to do. If it's violence that you're using, then you will have then you will start doing actual damage to the enemies when it gets into combat there. And literally anything can be an attack skill. But if you're the social skill, you have to try different tactics because usually one technique will only work once on a particular person. So we're going to set the scene here. And I think I want to put you all on some sort of an initiative so we can roll down there and giving everybody a chance to do stuff. I will jump in with the characters, possibly between multiple characters on that. So let's go ahead and bring up the initiative here. I am only adding an initiative on basis of how close you are to where action is going to be taking place.
Can I move myself? I'd actually like to be closer.
Yeah, you can move yourself. You should be able to just click on your character token and just drag it. So you're just outside.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Okay. Lounging around, trying to look inconspicuous. And probably not succeeding at that. So we're gonna go through here. Morgan, you're in the shop. You're sitting around waiting. At this point in time, Cordelia comes in carrying a small box. Take the scene.
Wonderful. I'm so thankful it's finally here. Please grab Gelfin from the back. I would love him. He's the only one that can open this. We want to open it up here on the table.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Like, this is a really busy time. He's just finishing up this big project, and it really can't wait. And last time I tried to interrupt him for any reason, I got yelled at. Please don't let me do that. So you're gonna need to make an attack against her to see if she's willing to acquiesce to your request.
Well, so I have as influence. I can let me see. Arrange an impromptu. Sorry, hold on. Receive an introduction to the merchant in a way that doesn't arouse suspicion.
So you actually did that already through a legwork scene, and earlier on.
Oh, okay. So this is.
And as I mentioned before, influence is not something that you could just spend willy-nilly like during the drama scene. If you want to have something, you got to spend it beforehand. It's got to be because you got to leverage contacts. You got to talk to people, and they have to talk to people, and they got to take time moving stuff. Which is why I wanted to get all that influence purchasing out of the way here. But
gotcha.
But you could maybe convince her through force of personality to maybe this time go ahead and help. But will be an actual attack. You are going to make a skill check. Which skill I would say convince somebody. But you may have a different function in there that you want to use against her.
Let's see. Just say he's.
She's not willing to do what you want, but you are putting social pressure on her to do it.
Right. So I'm trying. Would that be more like sizing someone up?
Not in this case. No, this is going to be like convince somebody, goad somebody, intimidate somebody. Depending upon what you're trying. I would even accept gossip with merchants, depending upon what technique you're using. You always have anything else if you don't have the skill.
Okay. So yeah, I guess the thing that I would think of in this moment would be that when I was here yesterday, we had an understanding, and as that understanding was that I was not going to be. I can always just, if you're interested in losing money for this shop, I will be happy to take my business elsewhere. But we had come to an agreement. Gelfin knows I'm coming. It's important that he's the one that's out here to see the box.
Okay, so you were intimidating her, or what skill are you using in this case?
I think that it would probably have to be intimidation. Yeah.
Sure, that sounds right. So go ahead and roll your skill check just the same way you normally would. I'm going to give you an advantage dice on this particular case because you have because you did previously set this up and you did have this whole legwork scene already spent.
And if we Karen our way to victory, I'm not going to know how I feel about this.
Okay, so what happens is that you rolled a 36, which is a success. She has a small amount of luck points, and whatever your actual roll is what your damage is. So you do 36 points off of her luck there. And so she's like, well, I I really, really can't. We've got these guards here, and they're on a time crunch too. And if you could wait till just like this afternoon, we can hold it to then. And so she's not going along with that.
Okay, so
but theoretically, our other person in the shop could like come in with another social interaction and like also attack her luck.
Absolutely. So Cordelia happens to be right there. What are you doing, Cordelia?
I think she's gonna try and convince her that like I can't legally hand it over until I see the shopkeeper owner.
Okay. That sounds very much like a bureaucracy role, but you could make an argument for convince somebody.
I can
or whatever skill you think that would be more appropriate on, but it sounds like bureaucracy or convincing.
I'm gonna try and do convincing.
Okay.
Because I
go ahead and roll it.
And I have 80% as my skill.
Yeah. Oh, you did. So yeah, so you like, she's like, okay, fine, I get it, I understand. I totally missed the message pop up. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, I get it, understand. Hang on, I'll go back and get him. So she goes back and starts talking to and starts talking to him. And he comes back out, and because this is because like he's left the room, the Katya comes out as well, and he is very annoyed, and he's like, "Who are you again? What do I need to be here for? You're just gonna open a box? Mike, you can leave that to my assistant." And you get this. He's annoyed, but he's just kind of like dismissive of it. But Katya comes out, and she is like very carefully looking at the both of you, and specifically locks eyes with Morgan. And she is clearly trying to get a good read on Morgan. And my dice roll was really crummy, and she was not able to do any actual damage using size someone up as an attack. But she's like, you understand, you get the feeling like she's on to you guys. Elena.
So since I'm like, I can see in the door from where I'm standing, I see Katya come out. And so I'm gonna like go inside and be like, "Oh my goodness, like we know each other, blah blah." Just so like, because I saw her like looking at Morgan, so just to kind of like throw her off the sense that like they can keep doing what they're doing. So I guess,
So we are running a lot of time here, so I'm gonna have to catch up. If you get two and then I'm going to switch to the next person.
Yeah, I don't know like what would apply in the situation. Like probably not navigate bureaucracy. I'm not really trying to convince her of something.
What are you attempting to do with her? You're trying to distract her?
Just draw her attention. Yeah.
There's
so
specifically a distract someone's skill, which if you don't have it is anything else.
I don't have it. So okay, so anything else.
So just roll anything else.
Okay.
All right. She's aware of you coming in. And you're kind of pulling the eyes off of Morgan. Takashi. They're still in there talking. Nothing violence happening yet, but you're outside. You can see them through the window. What do you do?
Is there like a hold your action for something to happen?
Sure. Just next time I call somebody out, just say this is you're coming in.
Okay.
Octavius.
Yeah, also hold or probably just not do anything until next turn.
William.
Same, I'll hold.
Morgan.
Lights a cigarette and takes the package from Cordelia. Yes, lights a cigarette and goes, well, this is what it's all about, and walks over to the. So let's just come do this quickly, and tries to get the shop over to the table.
Okay. All right, so you get him over there and keep going.
Yep.
Keep playing the scene out.
So as I'm smoking a cigarette, which was the key for the others as far as in the room, that was going to be the kind of the signal to get your. Yep. Mm-hmm. And as we're opening up the package, cigarettes going, and there's a little bit of powder on the very top. I pour the powder over, and as I'm turning around, putting on my mask, throw the cigarette down, and all of a sudden a puff of smoke fills the room.
Okay. I would like you to roll this as a use alchemical device, use a chemical object if you have it, which I think bizarrely the poisoner doesn't get. So if you've got a different skill, like conceal an object or something like that, so that
yes,
nobody gets hinted on that. So go ahead and do that.
Okay.
I would like you to roll 2 complication dice, because there's a lot of things I can see could possibly go wrong here.
Okay. And that's the challenge, 2 challenge dice?
Yeah, 2 challenge dice.
Okay.
All right. And then you also rolled 2 advantage dice too, it looks like.
Oh, is that... So that was... Yeah, sorry, I did the 2...
Did you do you have advantage dice for working with your own poisons?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so that would work out. So you're able to do this in such a way that the puff goes off, it fills the room. Mr. Cotter is dives back and covers his mouth. Katya is aware of these kinds of problems, and so she's a lot less affected by it. She's also further away. Garnet just passes out on the floor, and the 2 guards in the room pass out on the floor as well. You also gave the signal well enough that the rest of your crew knows to put on their masks on that point. But I think it's pretty clear at this point in time that this is no longer a quiet talking to part. This is now this is definitely now a combat scene, because Katya draws her sword and yells, "Scoundrels, Silvertree guards, to me!" And takes a swing at the closest person, which is Elena.
Are we the ones who hold their action are able to do anything yet, or do we wait?
She swings and misses. Elena deftly dodges out of the way. She's apparently being affected by the poison, and I also can't roll dice. So people holding your actions, what do you do?
Go for it.
All right, I'm walking into the entrance over here. I'll put on the mask, obviously.
Yep.
And I'm gonna move my way in, pull out the rifle, and just go ahead and just shoot at Katya.
Okay.
Okay, that's how we're doing this.
That's how we're doing this. So go ahead and roll your attack. I don't know if you don't normally get an advantage for these things, but do roll 1 disadvantage dice. And then I can also explain how weapons work, because it has a slightly different rule.
Okay. Okay. I would like to push my luck.
So that is a function that you do after you roll the dice. It changes your percentage, so that if you miss your attack, it does more. You can modify your percentages up, make a miss a hit.
Okay. You said
it didn't
one
come
complication.
Up. Yes, one. You're gonna roll it and roll one complication dice on there.
The challenge dice, got it.
One challenge dice.
All right, and I have a 90 as a sharpshooter. I have a 90 to shoot somebody.
Yes. So you shoot. There's a loud bang. She gets a bullet, flies into her arm and hits her armor. Now, you rolled a 42, which would normally do 42 points to her luck. But because you're using a weapon, it does an extra 40 points of damage because you hit the target. Because she's actually wearing armor, she sucks some of that off. But you still managed to do a good chunk. The bullet hits her armor and with a bang deflects off and bolt bounces in the door. Octavius, you're next in the street and holding an action.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Wow. Are the people on the street reacting in a negative way yet?
People are on the street and they have just heard a loud bang, and a crowd is starting to gather outside.
Cool. I'm gonna do crowd control. I'm gonna kind of roll up and be like,
Do not be alarmed. This is a training exercise. Everything is under control here. Nothing untoward is going on.
that kind of stuff.
Okay. So you're trying to quell the crowd here. I would like you to go ahead and roll me a check of some sort. This would most likely be like a gossip, or it may be like a convince someone.
I'm better at convincing someone than lying to someone, so I'd like it to be that. But
sure, convince someone.
Whatever makes sense. I will convince someone. No advantage, no challenge. Convinced.
Okay. Well, that's a 1. So you're successful in the check. Some of the people are on the street are starting to wander away, but there's still a fairly sizable crowd here. Let me just grab something for a character.
But don't forget my goons are outside also, making sure.
Yes, your goons are outside as well.
Yeah.
If ever it comes up, you've got you can bring in your goons when you feel it's appropriate. So there's the crowd. They're talking. You managed to convince one person to walk away.
Yay.
William, you're holding your action?
Yes. Did I hear her correctly? Did she say guards to me?
Yeah. She was shouting inside. She's talking about the house guards inside the place.
Okay.
And as you've mentioned this, they start to filter in from the back door.
Okay. I would like to cause another distraction to try and just basically get them somewhere else, or just the people and other guards trying to come in to assume that there's things happening in multiple directions. So if I could even shoot an arrow or shoot something into somebody else's window to distract them and maybe splinter them off, then I would like to try and do that.
Okay, so from city guards, you mean?
Correct.
Because she's talking about the guards that are inside, the local guards.
Oh, okay.
But it's funny that you mention that. I happen to have some heat here, and I'm going to go ahead and spend 15 of it to add in to the scene a squad of city watchmen, which you can actually use your effect against.
Okay. Then I would do that, and I don't know how much my influence used earlier will carry over, but if there's any way that the people that I have stationed that I used my influence on earlier to signal in,
yes.
hurry up and get what you need and get out because we're being surrounded, then I would want them to send that signal, and then I'll cause the distraction to relay the city guard somewhere else in the abandoned cupcake shop. I'll shoot an arrow and just make a loud noise through a window.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your shoot something check.
Okay. have any advantages on that. So.
All right. You successfully convince one of the city guards to investigate what's going on with a suddenly now broken window. So one of the city guards is now functionally removed from at least the immediate scene. And your crew that's on the lookout could be used in this particular case because they're on the lookout for this to provide another distraction. If you want to go ahead and expend your crew to do that, it is a check of the crew has a score of I think 40 on anything else. It might be 50 on anything else. It says on your card, but go ahead and just make the roll. All right. Your crew member, one of your crew members, has successfully done something suspicious enough to draw one of the guards off, and will lead them away on a merry chase. So good job. You've removed two of the guards coming in. Meanwhile, back in the combat zone, Cordelia.
I'm going to throw to distract the lady, and I'm gonna throw one of my throwing knives at her.
Okay, that would definitely distract her. Bleeding wounds do that to people. So throw something is the combat skill you would use in this case.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll your check, and I would like you to make use one disadvantage dice on this. All right.
My something is 65%.
Okay, and then the dagger does, I believe, 10 bonus damage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You throw the dagger, and it pings off of her. And she kind of ducks back. She's used to this kind of combat. In the process, you do manage to take the jostling of throwing around. The mask wasn't probably secured, and you end up taking a breath of the air, and you end up taking 7 whole luck off. On here I can just do it for you. Or you can do it for yourself. Great. You can also click on the character and then modify that. It's the green number if you haven't picked that up yet.
Okay.
Mr. Cotter is like yelling and demanding that you leave, and he is going to attempt to make a break for it. There's clearly too many people between him and the door, so he's going to head up the stairs. And he disappears up the stairs. Elena.
I am going to attempt to use Run Like Hell, but I'm going to try running into the back room.
Okay.
So let's see. Run Like Hell is 65%.
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 disadvantage dice to this because there are currently 2 guards that are coming in from that door, and so you got to get past. You got to get past Katya, and you have to get past 2 guards to do it. But go ahead and see if you can pull this off. This is not an actual check. So you managed to get past Katya, but you get stopped on the back on one of the guards coming to the door there. You knock one of them down, so he's not going to be able to perform an action, but the other one is going to attack at you, swinging a short like club that he's got for just such an occasion of clubbing people. He misses. Katya is also, with her broadsword, is going to swing at you. She also misses. The dice are not kind to me, as can happen sometimes, but it's good for you. Morgan. Elena's trying to get to the back room and is currently surrounded.
Morgan would pick up the remainder of the box where it's still pouring out smoke.
Yeah, the room's filling with smoke.
Right, and would throw it in the direction of where the guards are at the base of the stairs and where Elena is to intensify, and then would run into them. So pick up the box, throw it, and then run into them to try and knock them down.
Excellent. This sounds like a throw something check. Go ahead and make that roll. One disadvantage dice.
Oh. Hold on. Sorry.
I can just roll it for you. It's fine.
I did it. There you go.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, whenever I run a game, I always say that the first roll is the one that counts.
Okay.
So we'll take your 57. Does that hit with your throw something check?
It does. It's 65. Yeah.
Okay. So you just clobber this guy, and he's just gets a face full of it and is knocked out. And the other one who's standing next to him also passes out because the way that this is working on there. The whole area is filled with smoke. However, as you go running up, Katya like clotheslines you with a mailed arm and just smack, and drops you down, taking 44 luck off. Takashi, your rifle has been expended. It would take you around to reload it, or you've got, I believe, some hand crossbows or some sort of other weapons on you that you could use at this point.
Yeah, I do have a flintlock pistol as well.
Okay.
So, gonna go ahead and twirl that and then
Yep.
shoot Katya. Hopefully, maybe shooting her in the leg or something.
Sure.
There's some way to incapacitate her.
Excellent. Go ahead and make your shoot something check.
All right. And do I have the challenge dice that you want me to roll?
One challenge. Everybody who's in the room takes a challenge die because there's always a chance that you could succumb to poison.
Ooh, I would like to push my luck.
So let me explain how this works. If you push your luck, you expend 10 points of your own luck, and you modify up your skill 10 points for every 10 that you spend, and you also get to roll a complication dice.
Which is actually awesome, because then you're still doing like 99 damage, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't 99 miss? Because this is my skill.
No, but like if you bring up
what
skill
is your skill?
Shoot someone is a 90%.
It's a 90%. So you spend 10 points of luck.
Uh-huh.
And then I need you to roll a challenge dice, which could just be a regular D10, or you can just roll again. I'll just take it with one challenge die.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so I'll push my luck, and then.
Okay, and so you have failed this. So as far as the challenge goes, so the process of doing so and pulling it out and the shot. Your mask, your mask wasn't as tight as it could have been, and you end up taking 20 luck, so that's a total of 30 off of you.
Okay.
But the shot does go through her leg, and she goes down to a knee. Because your flintlock pistol, I think, does a 30 bonus damage.
Let me check. It damage 40 and deals 2 wounds when wounding.
That's the rifle.
Oh. No, that's trigger finger for it. Says you have a flintlock pistol in addition to your other equipment. On the Red Lotus Society part. I thought the rifle was like an additional thing that I got because of.
The rifle replaces your regular thing, and there. So yeah, it does that. So she is out. You managed to knock her out of the combat. She's down to one knee and injured, but she's still with you guys. She's not dead yet. On that point here, Octavius, you're talking to the crowd, and there's these city guards coming up the street.
Yeah, the time has come for the power of red tape. I am going to approach the city guards and I'm not gonna do the voice, but I'll mumble at them like, "This is out of your jurisdiction. There's already guards from the next precinct, from the correct precinct here. You can't be here. You're gonna get in so much trouble for trying to interfere in this thing."
So it sounds like bureaucracy.
Absolutely.
Go ahead and roll a bureaucracy attack.
It's all I know. That is less than my bureaucracy of 80.
One of them turns to the other one and is like, "Is that true? I don't know. Go get the boss." And he leaves and heads up the street.
All right.
So I'm working those guys like minions, and every attack is basically successful at knocking a minion out.
Perfect. So there's only one of them left, so that's good news.
Yep. That was Octavius. William. So there's a crowd of people who are gathered by the window, and they're definitely seeing like combat. And there's also Octavius talking to a city guard, and you also spot some thugs there. Lena, if you want to bring your thugs in at this point in time to do a thing, you can do that as well. But it's now William's turn.
Okay.
Can thugs counter crowds? Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
So one of the guards just left, based on what Octavius said, but one guard is still there, just speaking to him.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to. Oh boy. I would like to. I want to shoot another window or shoot something else to distract him. I want him away from Octavius. I don't want Octavius down there by himself.
All right. You could, I don't know, shoot the ground if you've got something to throw. I didn't actually ask you to describe where you were, but where are you right now? Do you have something in hand that you can fling out of there?
I'm on top of the building. So, you know what?
Kyle?
You know what? I'm just going to start kicking down shingles and just causing a distraction, just knocking a whole bunch of stuff off.
Okay, so this is not shoot somebody, but rather distract someone. So go ahead and roll that.
Okay.
Does that meet your restriction?
Oh, it does not.
Okay. Now, ordinarily you cannot push your luck on attack rolls, which is what this is. Unless you've got some special reason like Takashi does when he can push his luck on when he's making gunpowder checks. So you pry up a shingle and it falls off, but at this point in time the guard has started to notice that the crowd is gathered and it's just not paying attention to what's going on to shingles falling off the roof across the street. Cordelia.
She is going to again she's going to attack what's her name again with one of her throwing knives.
Okay. That hits. The dagger lands point first and manages to be thrown hard enough to fit through her armor, and she's like a spurt of blood comes out. She starts bleeding from that wound. She's, is like pulls the dagger out, and then like holds her chest where the wound is. She's definitely not doing very well. It would be, a couple more good hits like that, and she dies.
Good.
Elena.
Since my path looks pretty clear into that back room, I'm gonna keep into the back room.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that he was working with the orchid in the same spot
it's right there.
Okay.
I don't.
So I'm going to conceal object.
Okay.
I have an 80% for that.
All right. I think in this case, with nobody else being in the room, you slip back there and you just scoop the thing up.
Okay.
I'm not going to even make you have to make a roll for it because why bother?
Okay,
You also see that the glass flower is there as well. Now, this is not a easy get away with crime. Like, they're definitely going to know it's going to be stolen, and there's other people around as well, but you definitely have the thing.
Awesome.
Elegance was never our style.
Well,
since I'm still back there, can I smash the glass one, or can I not do that as like another?
No, go for it.
Okay, so I'm just gonna smash it.
Unlike in other role-playing systems, this one is very fluid with the length of a round and also how much you can do in a round. As long as everyone sort of is about the same time frame. Yeah, you go back there, you're like, I got it. Oh, look, there's that thing. Grab it, and you break it. There is actually specifically a break something skill, but I don't think it's necessary in this case. Actually, no, I think it is necessary in this case. If you're going to break it, I would like you to roll your break something skill, which might be in anything else.
It isn't anything else. Okay.
This is not an attack, so if necessary, you could push your luck on it. And you did not succeed, presumably, because a 53 is more than a 50. Would you like to push your luck to make this work?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So deduct 10 points, and I need you to roll again, real quick, just because you're going to add a complication die into it.
Okay. Just one complication?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So nothing untoward happens. You break the you smash it. Take a couple good stomps. The thing is broken very badly. They were using like silver and platinum, copper wire and jewels, and the thing looked really pretty before you got to it. Morgan.
Morgan was clotheslined, but is he on the ground or is
he's clotheslined. He's sort of dumped on his butt in a graceless manner, but can easily stand back up.
Perfect. Goes into the room with Elena and sees if he can assist in any way.
Okay.
And also tries. Go ahead.
To get to the room, you are going to have to try to force your way past Katya. She's injured. She's down on one knee because somebody shot her in the leg. But she's still armed and still threatening the immediate vicinity. If you try to go past her, she's likely to just take a swing at you, possibly bodily injury. If you want to trickery to get past her, I would accept you making some sort of like a dodge tumble roll or run like hell roll. Either one of those would be acceptable, or some other way that you feel would be an appropriate roll to getting past her to get into that room.
Yeah. So let's run like hell past her.
Sure. Do that and roll a one complication die as well.
Okay.
Is that a success for you?
No, that's not.
All right.
65.
If you would like to push your luck, since you're not actually attacking her in this particular case, I would accept you that you push your luck, but it will take you rolling another complication die and 10 luck off.
Okay, we'll do that. So it'll be two. Challenge.
Just roll one because you're tossing one extra die. I don't have a macro set up for rolling single dice.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so you do get past her because you pushed your luck to do that, but she is able to kind of trip you up a little bit, and you end up stumbling, and you get another face full of the gas. But you were expecting it this time, and you didn't breathe any in. Although it does sting the eyes, but fierce. Because I rolled crummy. And Takashi.
Gonna run through to the back as well.
Same reason as I gave to Morgan.
Okay. Actually, could I like walk over and just knock her out? Like.
You could. Do you have a hit somebody, bashing, smashing, hit-butting check?
Actually, can I just intimidate her? I'll just intimidate someone. I'll just tell her like if she knows what's good. If you know what's good for yourself, you're not gonna keep on doing.
Usually, once it goes to violence, social skills don't work anymore. But in this case, you've got the upper hand, and you're also still armed with. Presumably a second flintlock pistol rather than the two hand crossbows I think your character normally has.
Yeah. So I'll
So
just have
it's
a gun to her face, be like, I think it's
So
best you
go ahead and
decide.
roll an intimidation check and see if she comes to that.
All right.
This is an attack, but yeah, just intimidate someone.
And-
One challenge die as usual.
All right. And my intimidate is an 80%.
Okay, so she's like, okay, I surrender. And as that happens, you start to smell something sweet. It looks like your mask might be wearing off, and you take 17 luck damage.
God damn these masks, Morgan.
I didn't say it would last
Octavius.
forever.
Got 99 problems out here. I don't remember whose thugs are the thugs, but can we use the thugs to deal with the?
Yeah. Those are Elena's thugs, I believe.
Are you comfortable
Yep.
with using the thugs to get rid of the other guard?
Oh yeah, definitely. Go for it.
So tell me how that happens real quick.
Is that on me or on? I assume that's on her.
That's on her. They're
Okay,
her
yeah.
thugs. They're
Right.
her hired goons.
Whose goons are these anyway?
So, I mean, they're not the brightest tools in the shed, but they can still, like, read the room. So
Yep.
they look to Octavius and then, like, look at the guard and then decide that they're just going to kind of, like, create, like, a wall in front of him and start, like, backing him up. Like, they're just going to, like, walk towards him. It's, like, this formidable wall.
Okay. I believe they have a skill, and I believe in this case it is intimidate someone. Since these are guard thugs, I think unless your skill is listed on your sheet is better than 60%, I'm going to give them 60% on this. Roll an advantage die roll because you are using two of them.
I was talking and nobody can hear me. So 2 advantage and then no challenge.
No challenge.
45.
45, that's successful. So they start pushing and bullying this guard who is not happy with it, and they get into something like an altercation out in the street, which functionally removes the guard from combat, and he didn't manage to get around the corner where you are literally holding somebody at gunpoint. However, there's a crowd of people who are talking and chattering about this out on the street there, so that's a problem that you're most likely going to want to deal with.
Yeah,
Octavius, what do you have for that?
That's what I'm to my team doing. It's gonna be straight up intimidation. It's gonna be like, do you really want to be part of this? That gun's coming for you next. Clear out. You saw nothing. Scram.
Okay. Go ahead and make an intimidation. I'll give you a plus. Give you an advantage on this one. But it's difficult to move a big crowd of people when there's actual violence going on.
Yeah. Well, what I'm trying to be is like, this violence is coming for you next. But yeah.
Okay.
That is more than my intimidation, so I will push my luck.
Because this is an attack, pushing your luck is not an option
I will
in
not
this case,
push my
unless
luck.
you have some reason why it is.
I do not.
These guys are, like, they're hearing you, but violence.
But violence.
But violence. All right, William.
So, I don't think this team needs signals anymore.
No.
Oh.
No. So, if possible, I would like to order myself and my people to go down to the crowd and together intimidate them.
Okay. So I'll have you make 2 rolls, one for you and one for your peeps. Your
Okay.
peeps are don't normally get that. I think they're like 50% on their anything else checks.
Okay.
So roll for yourself and then roll for your peeps.
Okay. So we'll do the first one for me.
Yep. All right. So you managed to talk some of these people into dispersing.
Okay. And then for my people. Oh,
Nah, not quite. All right. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna take control away from you guys for just a little bit and narrate out the rest of this scene. So you guys have Elena has the thing, has smashed it, sees the back door. It's got a complicated fiddly lock on it, but as luck would have it, somebody has the keys. and manages to get the back door unlocked and sneaks out the back. While Takashi is currently holding Katya in a state of "I've got you cornered now," Morgan sneaks up behind and with a well-placed whack from one of the thwacking sticks that one of the guards has, just knocks her out, which is real bad in real life, but in the movies it's perfectly fine. She's gonna be okay. And then realizes that there's a big crowd out there and flings the smoke bomb through the window at the crowd, starting to really disperse it. During that, Cordelia, Morgan, and Takashi out the back door. Octavius sees it, passes the message on, and through a very exciting running scene, which we don't have time for, manages to dodge the additional guards that are showing up because now some of the street people have spotted and called guards and said there's something big happening. So there's an exciting scene where Octavius and William end up running from guards using some goons and events at one point in time somebody taking a dive into the canal and getting away. Now, but fortunately, all that distraction was happening out front, and Elena was able to sneak away and make it to the safe house with the goods. Congratulations, you won!
Woo!
Yay!
There we go.
This flower's got nothing on us.
Just like we drew it up.
Just like you drew it up. All according to plan.
Right.
Yeah, and that was Dusk City Outlaws.
Yeah, thanks for running.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
And for everybody who's watching on the stream, thank you guys for watching too. I hope you enjoyed it.
Good
Cheers,
night.
theoretical audience.
Bye.
See y'all next time.